Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Duo Esports Week 6 Day 2 matchup. Possibly the matchup of the week to boot. Conqueror Academy take on the undefeated AOL Phoenix. Joining me on the broadcast tonight is none other than
Headcaster John Warhood here. Welcome. Sorry for the delay. Not much of us we could do here. As a result, AOL lost all 5 bans. Apparently, there is some technology weather issues going on with a couple of their teammates. It seems like a hurricane is about to hit. What do you call it? Florida. So as a result, AOL has lost all 5 bans. Normally, for you guys out there, just to keep you clued in on what happened, normally this would have been a forfeit. However, at 7:08, exactly 2 minutes before the forfeit would have came in, all of the client's custom games crashed and caused a glitch to all members in the lobby that need to rejoin their relog in. So we gave them an extra 5 minutes. They got their whole team here. We are looking good. So, Shuno, what are you looking forward to for today's matches?
Well, first off, I think either way this will be an action-packed match. This is a very interesting way for AOL to handicap themselves against one of the better teams. As you mentioned earlier, they are losing all 5 bans, as they were 34 seconds off the clock from possibly forfeiting the match altogether. Thankfully, they are here, and what I expect to see out of Conqueror, knowing that they will have no bans, is a couple of bans likely away from top lane for Sievert. He's the only player that's been consistently in every single one of AOL's games, and I think that he'll be the focus.
Yep. Looking at that, though, I think most importantly, what we have to point out here coming into this, with no bans coming out from AOL today, that's going to leave Alawi open. Rutledge is going to have his pick of the litter. He did great in the first game of his week with, what was it, Aatrox. He's going to have to pick whatever top lane he wants, allowing him to carry if he wants to. The same with Gimpy. Gimpy's going to actually get an opportunity to get his Vi if he wants it. And Phoenix as well is going to get an opportunity to make plays for him. Looking at that, other than that, we are not going to be seeing much else. I guess we should run down the lineups really quickly. For Conqueror on the blue side, of course, is Rutledge in the top lane, Gimpy in the jungle, Phoenix in the mid lane, and then I believe a substitute here for Conqueror Academy being Jaka Loco. And then finally, last but not least, Jester of Time, their support rounding out their roster.
Yeah, and this is Jaka Loco. I believe this is his first appearance on the BSGCS, alone Conqueror Academy as a whole. They've been in search of an AD carry for a little bit of time now, and hopefully they found it. But all in all, Conqueror walking into this matchup, even with handicapped AOL losing all 5 of their bans, you still have to consider that Conqueror had a rough recently. We look at their past 2 games, go back to the most prior one. They lost to Lobsters in 23 minutes, one of the quickest and cleanest games out of Lobsters we've seen all season long. And then right after that, a tough match against OC Nation, a really close back and forth. But once again, Conqueror just couldn't quite make it. Now up against the #1 team from Group A, do you think they stand a chance?
Yes, I do. I think this is going to be a great matchup. Looking at this, Alesslo again in the AD carry role. Can he get the opportunity to see this? And with that, though, we are into champs like Darius, first banned out. Sievert, as you said, get a couple of his champions banned away. They have basically free rotation to basically manipulate these lanes in any way they want. Long time counting down these bans, looking for Sievert, of course, 30 seconds for each time. Do you see anything else, any other lanes getting targeted, Shuno?
I mean, if AOL were in their normal positions with Spike in the mid lane, say Bluted or Sarah Brown on support, and Sonic Edison in the jungle, and yes, but none of that is the case, as AOL are scrambled, and the only other player that I could even see bans towards would possibly being Alesslo and his Kaisa, as that is something that teams have banned away from him.
Kaisa, as I confuse both their names, Kaisa has been a permaban champion for Alesslo. I wonder if it gets through, though, as it seems like they're trying to set up a Rutledge carry game for Rutledge to show off how strong he actually is. As well as that, looking quickly over, Zog, the mid laner for AOL, the E sub, has a couple nice games on Ari looking at that, and then as well on Fizz, you may be looking to focus on those bans specifically. Fizz, of course, always a champion that can, if he gets big, get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, definitely a strong pickup, and we kind of have to talk about the roster for AOL in this game right now. Unfortunately, due to the weather conditions, definitely a cloudy day for them so far, because assuming LCS order is correct, that Sarabra in the jungle, Inabashiri and Zog with their first time performances on stage as well, this could be very shaky. And Seaford, target banned.
Yeah, definitely a target ban. Seaford getting targeted out. It gives the opportunity though for Leslo to carry, because I'm gonna assume here Ruffledge is gonna first pick one of his top lane champions, and then moving forward to that, it's gonna give the opportunity to double pick either your bot lane, which is what I would pick here, or pick your AD carry and jungle. With that though, all the bans have been completed. Ruffledge getting his first opportunity to pick. I'm gonna say we're gonna get to see the return of Ruffledge's Illaoi. I mean, I hope to see it.
We're gonna absolutely see a Warhead, the Illaoi, locked in on the side of Conqueror. But also, while we're talking with popular picks, Alesla says, "Alright, you let my Kais open, here I go."
Maybe you could also see, I think they're probably discussing here picking up between their jungler or their mid lane. Fizz, I would definitely look to focus on that. Fizz is being one of his great champs. So for Zog's better champion pools played, so I definitely see that this could be an issue. Yorick here to counter it. Yorick as well, another great pick. I do not like the pick though in that rotation. You didn't need to get a champ. You could have moved it down the order even though you had already seen their top lane. Do we get to see Gimpy's Vi? Shuno?
We might. It really depends if the TVO pick ban is gonna block it or not. I think it wouldn't be bad against Kaisa here. A solid battery, a very strong ultimate. For now, they're gonna pick the mid lane on the side of Conqueror. Swain, one of Phoenix's best champions so far.
Definitely an opportunity to see what is going up. Swain, though, great counter pick, and then the Jinx being hovered and locked in. I don't really like the Jinx pick here, because Jinx is such a scaling champion with the Kai'Sa in lane. It kind of sets up a little bit of a dangerous moment where, like, Kai'Sa, if she starts to get rolling on Alessa could probably, we've seen it before, 1v9 carry a game on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have, and while we're at it with one kind of 1v9-esque character we did overlook briefly was the Yorick pickup by Seaford. I don't believe this is going in the jungle whatsoever, and he has played this before against Enigmatic Gaming, in fact, where he absolutely decimated the top half of the map and caused a lot of problems across the map. So, would you consider this to be a grave oversight on the side of Conqueror, or just a really smart pocket pick that AOL have?
Yorick's always, as a couple of the I've only lost something like this season in competitive play, like 3 games with my crew, and I think 2 of those games have been to a Yorick. Yorick has a great potential, if you don't know how to deal with it, to overrun a game, and should definitely be a bloody top lane and a bloody interesting matchup to see. Coming out now, I'm assuming the next ban here for Conqueror is going to be the Fizz. They seem to be targeting Zog here. Zog having chosen to lock in a Leona, giving a very strong bot lane over to AOL here with the Leona Kai'Sa. So expect to see the Fizz banned away next, as it is one of Zog's better played champions.
Yeah, definitely going to be on the list for Conquer if they've done their research, which if I see an Ahri ban, I think it's very much a specific ban, not really a generalized mid lane ban at the moment. So the Fizz ban very likely to come through. We'll see if it does. Rounding out this AOL Phoenix comp, what would you like to see on it though?
Definitely I would like to see something, say farming. Talon's the last ban, interesting enough. I would assume this is going to be a Fizz pickup here. Because you already see the 2 solo laners. And Fizz can be able to pull Swain's Nethergrasp and basically get around the Swain. Will be a little bit of rough farming, and then something tanky in the jungle like an Illaoi or a Sejuani.
Yeah, definitely. Sejuani been, I think, the most impactful jungler in the game so far. assuming Trundle isn't being picked into Harwich. Gimpy, it's your choice. Trundle would absolutely mess up the Sejuani pick, but he's one Vi all season. What's he going to go for?
It's going to be the Vi. Last pick here, I would expect to see... first off, we'll talk about the Vi in a second. Last pick here, though, I expect to see a poke-heavy, range-heavy champion like a Brand. That's what I would pick into a Leona as a Leona man myself, or a Nami, which is being hovered and currently locked in. This now gets the chance for the last pick of the mid lanes, or to counterpick, even though there was no need to counterpick this lane. I'm expecting to see here the Fizz.
Expecting to see the Fizz. We'll see if we see the Fizz or not. You've been talking about it. We'll see if your crystal ball is dusty in the slightest. As Inabashiri picking for Zog here. It will be the Fizz!
It's like I know what I'm doing, right, Shuno? Anyway, we're going to see a couple quick switches here. Leona, of course, going to the bot lane. And then I'm assuming in a second we're going to see Sejuani and Yorick switch. Great lanes here. Actually, funny enough, I've not had an issue with Nami's in lane into a Leona. I'm kind of a Leona one-trick here, even though Curtis hates it. And I think that Nami, if she can't land her bubbles on Leona, leaves herself open for kind of important trades that will be able to poke down this Nami very quickly and roll in on Nami, kills her very quickly. The same with Jinx, both not very mobile either. So Sejuani, a strong ganker early, is going to be able to get ganks off if she wants them or sees them pushed up under their turret.
And I couldn't agree with you anymore. I think that a lot of action is going to be here in the bottom lane on Inabashiri, and as you just said, very squishy, zero mobility targets out of the Jinx, out of the Nami. That can be first blood, maybe second blood, if this Jocko Laco and Jester of Time bottom lane slips up just a little bit, because Leona's early damage is absolutely ridiculous.
More importantly, on top of that, I think when you look at the other lanes, when you're looking at an Alawi, I've always felt never gank an Alawi lane, because she's like one of the kings of the queens, actually, of the 2v1. With her ability to regain health, it's such an amazing portion of that. So Yorick, also a shoving champion, should be able to shove Alawi under tower and minimize that, and then the moment Alawi tries to teleport in, as we've seen Ruffledge pretty good with these teleports to turn fights around in the bot lane, will be able to take the top turret. And then Fizz itself, I always felt that you either need the opportunity with your jungler when I'm jungling to either have CC on a champion to get down and get locked down onto a champion and then follow through with damage. And Fizz offers none of that pre-6. So I don't see much ganking potential from the Sejuani coming out pre-6 for the Fizz. Afterwards, that should change, though. Whether Swain at that point then can just be too far ahead to 2v1 is something we do have to be able to look at as well. Other than that, interesting notes. Again, Jinx, a super hard scaling champ, not going to really do anything till 2.5 items. Vi maybe be looking to gank that, but my opinion is Gimpy and Ruffledge have a lot of synergy. So expect the Yorick to get a couple of ganks, especially with Yorick consistently shoving up into Alawi, going to give the opportunity for Yorick to get ganked a bunch. Swain as well, I would be looking to spend, has good gank potential off the Swain Nethergrasp and slows and all that. Fizz could only properly pull one sort of CC. Expect to see a couple of ganks there, and Vi spend most of her time in the top lane.
I agree with you on all of that. In fact, Gimpy himself has publicly stated that he does not gank bottom lane under any circumstance. He will primarily go for the mid and the top lanes, not really touching bottom lane too much. Not a fan of it doing it. I think it's a solid strategy, but while with Gimpy, he's talked about it all season long. His Vi, his team's banned away from him. They've made him not get it picked. The other teams have banned it. He's talked about it almost as much as Leslo has talked about being the number 1 AD carry in duo esports. Finally, he gets it. Do we think he's going to pop off incredibly, or is his Vi just like no hype whatsoever?
I would have to say this is going to be a feast or famine game for Gimpy. Gimpy talking a lot of trash about his Vi. Can he actually play it though? 55 win percentage on the Vi. In, oh my god, 343 games played this season.
Exactly, so
he knows what he's going to be doing on Vi, So maybe we'll see a couple of Nintendo Dude X moments coming in as we get into loading screen. One big thing before we display it, if Kaiser doesn't take fleet of footwork here, expect them to, I almost want to say expect them to lose the lane, because Nami's just going to be able to out-sustain the AD carry of left slow.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, bot lanes, I guarantee you, and normally I ask your thoughts on this, but I think we're both pretty unanimous in bot lane being where first blood's going to be. There's no way with a Leona, Kai'Sa, and Jinx Nami, who Jinx Nami's want to step up and get damage on, first blood's going to be there.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out here, and I know he's not listening, Alessio, you say you're the best AD carry in duo esports right now. You got to show it here. What I told my team when we were down by 7 points last week during my football game, big players make big plays. Big players will show up in big moments. Alessio, if you are a big player, you need to show up here, because you've talked all of this about how you're the best, and it's time for you to step up and show out. It's really unfortunate what happened to them, AOL is, because AOL is in the position now where, this could have been like a marquee match, and possibly even, because this is cross conference, a display of what is come in the finals if everything pans out. Unfortunately, with all these E-subs, we kind of get that off-putting, so we will not see this.
And with that, indeed, it's going to be, you have to keep your eyes on the players that are here, keep your eye on Laszlo, keep your eye on Sievert, and strangely enough, I'd say Sarah Brown, he's in an off-role, support main here, known for his brand play, in the jungle now. We have to see what he's going to do.
Well, I mean, Sora Brown, what I always felt is support and jungle kind of synergize a lot of the opportunity for supportive action. It looks like a standard 5-point coming out for Conqueror, but I always felt that this is an actual decent invade comp they're going to have. But AOL looks like they may be taking it to Conqueror early with an invade comp that isn't really that good. Could they surprise this Jinx here who's caught out and maybe get the early first blood?
Possibly. It all really depends on where AOL decides to invade. I think they'd stand a better chance of catching Jester out if they were to go down here based of Jocko Lako's positioning. Yeah. He will notice this invade the moment it starts if they commit for it, which looks like they do back off.
Yeah, they did. Even taking the proper gank path for that invade top. Not a lot of people know this, but if you go down to that little bush and hug the wall, it gives the minimum amount of time for the enemy team to spot you out. Even though Conqueror did the proper 5-point, putting Vi in the mid lane to not describe which side of the map she's going to start on. Not a lot of information gained on both sides, however.
Yeah, definitely the case, and no invades to come through. We proceed with standard laning phase. Both the bottom lanes roughly get there at the same time. Top laners between Yorick and Alawi. Let's talk about this matchup a little bit. How do we think it's going to go?
I'm expecting So here's what's going to happen, I think. Alawi is going to get shoved under turret early by the Yorick. Vi is going to be able there to come up and counter gank the Alawi, allowing Alawi to get a couple of kills, getting ahead, and then it's going to be able to transition that into team fighting, while Yorick overall is going to split push and be able to have the opportunity to stall the game out long enough to get a couple team fights, to get objectives, to ultimately win the lane. If Yorick is unable to split push properly into the Alawi, then we're going to see an issue.
Yeah, and there's the level 2. Aleslo's got some good damage, and first blood picked up with the Void Seeker!
What a great moment for that. I was actually about to comment in that trade, no Ignite on the Leona. Leona, I always felt, is the better Ignite champion because of her aggressiveness. However, they don't need that. Even getting out of the way, the chance to burn the heal. Nami stepping up a little bit awkwardly, nothing she could do. Smart enough not to burn anything, knowing she was dead, giving herself up. Unfortunately, Jakalako on the Jinx, burning his heal, meaning that now if they stand up, step up, this could happen again.
Yeah, and right there, we talked about it, the ludicrous damage that Leona and Kai'Sa have at level 2. Nami, you saw her at around 70% HP 1 second. Next second, you take that 7 off when she's at 0. Absolutely great coordination to come out of AOL.
Yeah. As we see this now, I have not seen a reason why the pause is. So right now we are in a pause. What's the duo esports game without the pause? Coming forward though, moving forward, both teams looks to be ready, and both teams are about to hop back into this game. Great level 2 engage there. Great ability to step up, make that play, and now get firm control of this lane.
Absolutely, and the pause wasn't long at all. Just of time, will be entering back to the lane, but Gimpy right up in the top lane. There's the vault breaker, there's the excessive blow. Seaford not gonna go down though, as he's able to get away with the flash.
Great. I mean, if Gimpy re-ganks here, this is dangerous. That's a dangerous flash to blow here. It basically takes away a lot of York's pressure early, being able to just poke down, harass from distance with his, who was it? What Vasila was saying last week when, I think even Seaver locked in the York, his monkeys. They're actually ghouls though. Not going to be able to pressure that hard now with his ghouls. But we are going to see coming out what is going to happen in this top lane. Will he re-gank? Gimpy really owning the jungle right now, this jungle matchup. Sorrow not probably the best, giving his off roll on this clear. Full clearing bot lane, in fact, probably giving the opportunity to take everything away.
Yeah, definitely the case, and the bottom lane, Leslo has got a big wave.
Ruffledge didn't see this patch on the gank.
Oh
didn't see it on the
boy,
wood.
Sour Brown, he got his pathing right, but doesn't mean much when not in position for it at all. Sejuani reveals her position, if anything, and Sour Brown will retreat to his jungle.
A great warding here on the top side of the map to prevent that early level 3 gank coming in, or was it 4? Level 4 gank, right? They full clear bottom. Gimpy in turn getting the deep ward bottom and looking to gank mid lane now.
Yep, looking to gank the mid lane. That's a fizz though, so it'll be a lot trickier. You can just playful trickster over the wall, just like that, and the gank is fully neutralized.
If I'm Sorrow Brown right now, I am recalling and going bot lane. Alessio doing a great job slow pushing this, allowing this lane to come back and bounce back into his turret to allow to get into a position for Inu Bish. You speak Japanese, how do you say that?
Inubashiri, if you really want the Japanese pronunciation. If you can say it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, I'm just gonna call the Leona Inu from now on. Inu gonna get the opportunity to go in again at any moment because of how they have positioned this lane.
Yeah, absolutely the case here. So far, though,
they're about to spot the Sejuani out, meaning that now they're going to have the full clearance of their... basically, they're going to know where all this clear is coming through.
Yes, they are, and the gank absolutely neutralized 5 steps in advance on the side of Conquer, but something that worries me very early on is Fizz and the Swain are going very even, and I think for a Fizz-Swain matchup, that shouldn't quite be happening. Fizz should be much more down in CS at this stage of the game, and bullied, maybe even killed, but Zog playing the lane well, and Gimpy, Phoenix possibly not playing aggressively enough, has given this lane over very evenly so far.
I mean, I guess, right, the general rule about mid lane, right, is the early levels the range champion should be able to win. Oh, another pause coming in. Again, like we said, there are, in the southern parts of the United States, a little bit of a hurricane issue coming through. Hurricane, I was looking at before, I think it's Barry. Hurricane Barry, right off the coast right now of Georgia and Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit. So to give you an update right now, there's ping issues coming out for Sejuani, and to go forward, it looks like Conqueror is having a bit of an issue as well.
Alright, so we have a little bit more time on our hands to analyze the chess field right now, see where all the pieces are, which ones are about to fall over, which ones are firmly in place at this point in time. Mountain Dragon is up 6 minutes in, very, very early to go for this kind of dragon, so we actually get the pause a lot quicker. when do we think this Dragon's going to be gone for?
I actually don't think this is a bad opportunity. I'm going to assume here Vi is going to show bottom, or even right now because they're bouncing this, maybe we're going to see Alesslo and Inu bounce. Inu and Alesslo retreat, and then now with the Vision Ward being placed in the Baron Pit, Gimpy is going to be able to solo it via one of the better soloers of the Dragon early levels.
Hopefully.
Right now, though, yeah, waves are just bouncing back and forth in bot lane. Inu not really, because of the fact that they flashed, didn't burn anything other than the heal. Inu being very careful because he knows the next time we go forward, they're just going to probably flash away or even set up a counter gank. Vi, though, now sticks having her ult, gonna be able to take this forward and take the pressure to somewhere like a York in the top lane who still has this flash down for about 30 seconds.
Definitely the case, and now pressure in the bottom lane. They have to be very careful. Actually, in the mid lane, there is the Chum. The water is right on top of Phoenix. It's going to be some good damage between both of them, though, and Phoenix coming on top and paused! What? Alright, this is the power of Hurricanes into Esports, ladies and gentlemen. As of right now, Zog is possibly dead, but we are in a pause mid-motion nonetheless.
Yep, but here, the bigger thing right now, both level 6 junglers about to counter gank for each other. Neither team, I think, noticing this. Sejuani just revealed on the map. Super unfortunate we're having all these ping games, but I think this is going to be a very great moment coming up.
Yeah, definitely that pause timer is about to be a countdown for when the fights start, because, as you just mentioned, mid-action, both junglers are right around the corner in almost the exact same position. Looks like Sauerbrunn has just a minor advantage of getting to the lane slightly quicker. Here we go, Warhood. 3, 2, 1. Flash away from the Fizz. There's the Glacial Prison. Locks him up. There's Gimpy on the side. Going in for the fight. The 2v2 in the mid lane. No one's going to be dead.
Coming out of that, all lanes were, all flashes were burned, in fact, looking at that. Great little counter gank there, I guess by Gimpy, right? I'm going to assume they were a little bit, Zog, a little bit early on his fish, which could have, if the fish was timed right, could have been a disaster. Gimpy now getting the opportunity, though, with that ult to gank the shoved in Yorick. But his flash is now up.
Yeah, so maybe a little too much of resources expended towards the mid lane. But either way, that flash being down on Seaver, not being taken full advantage of. And he's been sitting pretty in this lane so far.
I have to commend here Sauerbrun's pathing. Even though he's probably not the best and probably not optimizing the clear as best he should, given the fact he isn't in his off roll, he has basically been able, at any opportunity, to be in the lane where Gimpy is about to gank. Gimpy got one gank off on the Yorick top, and then tried to re-gank it. Sauerbrunn in perfect position again, though, to counter gank it, and then also being able to meet with Gimpy in the mid lane during that fight.
Yeah, definitely, and as we mentioned earlier, Sauer getting there quicker, great stuff. Possibly was the reason as to why no one died there. Either way, both teams playing it very well so far. If we get closer to the 10-minute marker, Vision from both sides looking pretty good, but the positional advantage for the Mound Dragon, that's in favor of AOL Phoenix.
Here we go.
Alesslo is in a lot of trouble. Stolen Battery and the Bubble, that's going to take him out. And now Leona also in trouble. Inobashiri might be going down. Jocko Laco picks up the kill with the Death Rocket. And suddenly, another couple of kills going down. And another bubble to follow through. Seaver trying to make a play happen on his own, but he has to flash away. Not able to get any more onto this one. Sauerbrun's retreated off to the side. Glacial Prison about to be up. They could re-engage here, but they're not going to go for it. Conquer with a big play.
Yeah. A little bit of an unnecessary teleport there by Seaver. like I said, this allows for a bunch of turret damage to be done. Misuse there, the fight was already over, no use in teleporting like that. I'm not going to even really fault them there. I guess you could fault them by not having the intuition of what side of the map Vi was on. But moving forward, looking at this, they now look to take maybe an early dragon. Very unfortunate when you walk into a bush and a Vi's right there to ult you. Especially if you're an AD carry, you're going to get instantly wiped off the map.
Yeah, and just as we were talking about Sievert having an easy time in this lane, that teleport costs him and his turret dearly. Rutledge with the first turret of the game.
I just have to vent a little bit about this, because I was talking about this recently in a game. Riot needs to be more forgiving about these sort of plays. I know they're about to butcher teleport, so this won't happen anymore. At least if the patch, what's on the TVE goes through.
Well, Nami is about to die here, no questions asked. Leona is pretty low, so Gimby gets a turnaround kill. Now onto Alesslo, could keep going further. Alesslo firing away with that damage. Not going to go anymore, the 1-for-1. And you can return back to your point.
The game shouldn't be played, like I was trying to say, the game shouldn't be played around the fact that you make one mistake in lane and all of a sudden your turret's gone. It's really that, like, I can't explain it in a more simple fashion. All in all, Sievert made one teleport misplay, and next thing you know, a buffed turret, right? Because they buffed the top lane turrets for the first 2 7 is absolutely gone, and now he's in a long lane.
Yeah, I mean, definitely unfortunate that that is the case for Sievert, but good capitalization on Rutledge, I would say, to be able to make that happen. Now in the middle lane, 2 members of AOL right around the corner. Phoenix in all sorts of trouble, locked him up, taking him down. Zog will pick up the kill.
Yeah. I expect now to see the counterplay here of Vi taking her red buff, going to the Baron. Baron completely warded out. Gimpy gonna get the opportunity here to solo this dragon if he wants it. But he looks like instead he's gonna try and rebalance this bot lane even more. Kai'Sa 2-0 now already with the what do you call it, Gosu Blade. And again, looking at this, Solar Brown again in position to counter gank if it came through.
Yeah, definitely seems to have a great read over as to where Gimpy is on the map, stopping a lot of these things from happening. They might engage on him, they're definitely going to engage on him. Jocko Laco is picking up the kill. Now Alesslo trying to do good damage on the back. There is the killer instinct. Will he be able to take Gimpy down? No, he can't! Gimpy stays alive for a few seconds longer, and now the turnaround from the bottom lane. One more hit to do it! There's the zap, and that is another set of kills for Conqueror.
Jinx getting excited there, having the ability to continue those auto attacks, continue the ability to move forward. Alesslo played that well. You can't really fault Alesslo there, ulting away but continuing the auto attack. Gimpy at the last second teleporting to cancel an auto on Alesslo, allowing them to pick up the kill, and another turret falling down early. But it looks like on top of that even more, looking at the top side of the map, Alawi about to get Rift Herald and assume it to use it on tier 2 because Sievert in the long lane isn't going to have the opportunity anymore to really push in his lane.
No, he's not in Conqueror with superior macro play here. Solar Brown, he's read Gimpy, but he hasn't been able to read all 5 players on the side of Conqueror. So that is the Rift Herald right there, and that is basically a turret plus.
Yeah. Not only that, though, it looks like they're trying to rush. Gimpy has no idea of this, so this is going down. Great little counter call on that, because it looks like now they're going to get a dragon. Gimpy getting there a moment too soon.
Yeah, definitely the case. A good sneak away take on the side of AOL Phoenix. That would have been absolutely disastrous if the side of Jinx would have been able to pick up a Mountain Dragon on top of her double buffs. The turrets would not last long.
Yeah. More importantly, on top of, not importantly, but the thing is now, can Alesslo adjust? We've seen Alesslo not deal a lot of damage in games because he focuses the turret. He's gonna have to group to counter this Jinx as Jinx starts wailing away on the mid turret.
There they go. The fish also gonna miss on the side of Zog. So that's another one of their damaging tools. If if the fight were to break out, now down, AOL Phoenix have to be careful with this one. Sievert's trying to hold Rutledge up in the top lane here, but that looks pretty rough.
That's gonna. He gets away with. I'm not gonna say a misuse, but that definitely puts. They didn't maximize the use of their ref curl. Rutledge gonna be able to come forward and get his tier 2 turret very shortly, and then probably be able to rotate into a 5v5 and start A-ramming to force them down, as it seems like they are incredibly ahead right now in terms of kills and items and gold.
Yeah, just chipping down the turrets on the side of Conquer. Another pause to come through, actually. Things getting pretty windy up where AOL is, but nonetheless, it's just chipping down these turrets. They get the middle turret. I tell you what, they're about to get the top turret pretty soon.
Yeah, less low DCs here. That's a person in Philadelphia, so there's probably a couple more issues coming forward. I do not know what we're about to see here coming out of this, but this game is in super danger mode because Conquer Academy is about to start taking a bunch of objectives and a bunch of turrets.
Yeah, absolutely the case, and you have to consider the record and the strength of schedule. If we're going to sit back just a little bit, Conquer Academy, as of right now at least, are sitting at, I believe, 6-3 in Group B. AOL Phoenix 10-0, being able to pick up a win against an opponent like this when they have a much easier schedule down the line here, that would be massive for them.
It would definitely a great opportunity for them to get a big win here, big momentum boosting win, even though there are a bunch of subs on the team. Looking at what we can see though right now, I'm expecting to see an ARAM start to happen here for Conquer Academy. Can Sievert, who has teleport up, capitalize on this and start to take turrets down across the map as he split pushes with his teleport up? If not, this goalie is going to continue to balloon.
It's absolutely going to balloon, and let's assume we're about to unpause any moment. Then if I'm on the side of Conquer, I just rotate up top, and bam, that's a free turret. The wave's about to get grabbed, Rutledge is in position, they just got a middle turret.
I think in reality, you don't need to rotate up here. Rutledge has been showing, especially because he has the level lead, already has his Black Cleaver. Sievert already using his ult, so he can't really do much into the Alawi. Rutledge here probably actually just takes this turret in the next 1 to 2 turret minion waves coming up, making them able to 4v5, and then probably look to a fight underneath the tier 2 of mid if Rutledge and Conquer Academy is going to be aggressive enough to take a major fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an option either way. We'll see how much they want to play the chip game. Rest of Conquer, they can go anywhere they want right now. Rutledge just kind of pushing in slowly but surely. Sievert's gonna get the wave, and it looks like his turret's also gonna get a breather.
Everyone disappears off the map. Rutledge backs off. He has 800 gold right now. Can't really can complete his phage coming up. Probably looking to complete a phage and move forward. Great display by both top laners here. It's unfortunate, like I said, Sievert takes one bad TP, and next thing you know, he's basically down 2 turrets.
Essentially, yeah, but you can't count AOL Phoenix out of it. There's a 3,000 gold lead on the side of Conquer 60 minutes in. Pretty big at this stage of the game. However, the team fighting and AoE on the side of AOL cannot be ignored. There's the Sejuani ultimate, you have the Solar Flare, you have the Fizz ulti with a little bit of AoE as well, so Conquer definitely can't get sloppy.
AOL to come back into this game has to be able to 1-3-1. The question is, can they do that into a harassing harassing lane of Swain, Nami, and Jinx? I actually think at this point, Fizz is only one item with the cooldown boots. I don't think he has enough kill pressure yet to start killing the Vi, two-shotting him off a combo. So can we see moving forward them be able to make a play in some other lane besides this as they keep shoving up and try to get the pressure off of their mid lane?
I mean, hopefully for AOL, eventually that Fizz is going to have to start one-shotting people. Now, if that person is Gimpy or not, give or take, Gimpy is going to have a little bit of more health than the Jinx is in this regard, so Zog gonna scale up a little bit more. Currently working towards that Lich Bane, so that will help out his burst combo a lot in the long run. So far, it's just a Sheen.
I mean, what we're gonna have to see, which the question is, who's Gimpy deciding to target with his ult? What is it? With his ult, if he's able to do it, if he targets the Fizz is just gonna play full Trisher it. I don't think I've never actually seen the interaction between how a less low ult works onto the Gimpy ult. If the ult actually drops turret aggro, drops the ult aggro, it gives Gimpy a lot of problems in deciding where he's gonna ult to start a fight. Because the Leslie should be skilled enough to drop his ult the moment he sees or hears the Vi ult to get away from, where a Leslie or where Gimpy's trying to ult. Big fight though, as Infernal Drake is coming up in 1 minute and 33 seconds. I expect to see a major fight over that because you cannot continue to let Gimpy start to Gimpy and his Conqueror team start to aggro a bunch of turrets and dragons and objectives.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad for them if they were to let it go through. Seaver trying his hand with the Rutledge over here. In fact, 3 members of AOL are going to collapse right towards them. They've already baited the ultimate out, and with no way that Rutledge gets out of this one. Alessio picks up the kill.
More importantly, Seaver there on the great rotation, able to hopefully be able to hold off this lane with his ult. His ult already falling, however, as now 4v2 as the rest of the team tries to run up there and prevent this happening. Alessio, on the other hand, trying to take top tier 1.
Yeah, that turret was not gonna live whatsoever. The moment AOL decided to go for that play, they gave up that turret. Alessio doing the smart move to start chipping away at this top turret. Answer with their first turret of the game 20 minutes in. Solar Flare actually lands onto Jocko Loco. That could be a big shutdown to come through if they're able to get it, but A will have to consider they also might be overextending this. They do shut down Jinx. Leona flashes over the wall. Gimpy not able to get over the wall himself, and AOL somehow make that pick work.
Make the pick work with 5 seconds on the Infernal Drake, and looks like they're going to try and take T1 mid off of this with not much of an answer to it, forcing them to come answer this instead of taking the Infernal Drake.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. The last second on Jocko Loco's recall didn't go through in his favor. Another shark gets tossed out. And AOL are able to make a positive play. They're able to get a turret, and they're able to stop the strangling out of Conqueror.
Zog needs to be better and realize that at this point, Dragon's up and not waste that ult, because once the ult's down, we now see it. They're turning out their immediate attentions to the Infernal Drake that is currently spawned on the map.
That is indeed the case. However, the Chum the Water is not an incredibly long cooldown. In fact, it's already less than half off of cooldown, so if Conquer want this dragon, they have to go for it real quick.
I don't think they saw that Sorrow Brown had recalled, so maybe an opportunity there that they missed.
And now Chum the Water is back off of cooldown. Zog's going to be able to toss that out. Hopefully he listens to you on this one and saves it from the fight start, since that definitely plays a huge role into how everything plays out.
The big question we have coming up is, can Sorrow Brown hit the Alawi, or can some CC lock happen on the Alawi as soon as she ults? It's going to be unfortunate. They have enough CC to stop the Alawi, but the issue is, do they burn all their CC on the Alawi to stop her from getting off massive tons of damage? But if that doesn't happen, as we look to almost be a pick, if Gesture of Time walks a little bit closer, nope.
Pretty close. Not going to happen. The teleport also going to come in for Rutledge. They want this dragon, but AOL also are in area to contest it. Alessio taken low off of some poke damage, staying a little too close in the front lines. Now the Infernal under fire. on the side of Conquer. It's risky for AOL to contest it, but they're not going to go any further. Here's the fight to come through. Kaisa firing safe in the back lines. Phoenix trying to get into the middle of the fight here. It's way too deep as Fizz gets taken down. Now the back line exposed. Seabird gonna be taken low and taken out on this one. Leslo the only man up, and he's about to be down right afterwards for AOL Phoenix. That's 4 kills on the board for Conqueror.
Great play there. They didn't see the Alawi teleport, I think, coming in backside there. Inu not getting the ward deep enough into the Dragon Pit to see. They had great control over that, and two T2 turrets are going to be their result. And maybe even a look to Baron? It looks like they continue to siege mid, however.
I'm gonna call inhibitor on this one. That is a red buff Jinx knocking on the turret. There's no way they don't say for the inhibitor. Conqueror Academy are knocking down the turret 7-1, 23 minutes in.
Do they turn Baron here and be greedy? A large wave top lane they know they have to answer. Looks like they decide not to, though, as they start to make their way out of their jungle.
Yeah. I have to ask you this question now. For AOL Phoenix, as of right now, they are undefeated. Pretty close to being defeated, though. How are they going to stop this bleeding the Conqueror have caused?
I mean, they have to be able to 1v1 effective, 3-1, 1-3-3. I can't speak. I am so sorry. 1-3-1 effectively coming forward to stop all of this pressure. However, the more you 1-3-1, you can't really deal with those inhib minions coming down your lane. That's going to open up the possibility for Baron coming up.
Yeah, and while out with Baron Asher, superb vision control on the side of Conquer Academy. They have almost every ounce of the Baron Pit lit up like a Christmas tree. The only thing they can quite seem to get, which they'll get eventually, is that ward in the back. That's going to block out the vision that AOL have, and things just got really dark, and another pause.
Oh, definitely a lot of ping issues. I wonder if there's actually a storm going on in Chicago. I've had a couple lag spikes as well this game. Is there something going on with the Riot service? I don't know. This is an unfortunate way to play out two of the top teams in this league. First with the half-strength stuff coming out of AOL, and now with all these pauses. I expect to see here... actually, there is a bit of an issue here. Alawi splitting bot lane right now without teleport. If they engage the Baron, Alawi's going to have no way to get up to them. So I hope they don't look to take a Baron and maybe get an unlucky 4v5 fight.
Well, if that's the case, then how do... let's assume there is a fight, either forced by AOL or Conqueror, depending on which one, give or take. In a 4v5 scenario, do AOL come out on top when Alawi's not there?
I would have to say it's dependent on who Sorrow Brown can lock up. If he locks up the Jinx, yes. It would become down to if Phoenix can basically carry the fight by himself. He's only 1-1-3 right now with a stacked Roa and a Leandri, so there's going to be a lot of damage coming out for him. Can Alessio navigate through that just enough to pop, their two or three squishies?
Hopefully the case as well. Sorrow needs to play it massively in this fight here. It's Sejuani Ultimates, and he's had a great lead as to where Gimpy might be on the map. No way he doesn't know that Baron Asher could be going on now.
Oh, you see that? All those quits? 365 coming across of all of them right now. Looks like Jinx about to stack a second Zeal item. Going to be dealing a bunch of AAs, and with that crit, 675, a crit there, even with armor, that's going to be 300 or 400 pop.
Yeah,
that's out to the AD carries.
That is going to chunk massively. A Jinx firing in the backline is exactly what Conqueror won, and they have all the distraction tools to let her do so between Rutledge, Gimpy, and Phoenix, all causing havoc in the middle of AOL.
Looks like they're looking for a fight, though. They realize that Jinx doesn't have the teleport. They're on the flank here.
Possibly the case. Both teams in a very interesting position, but I think if you're on the side of Conquer. You just keep going. There's a base right there. They might have to turn for the fight right afterwards, as all of AOL are about to say, hey, you're going for a turret, but we're going to go right for you. This could be really bad. There is the ultimate Phoenix up in the front line. Alesslo doing good damage, but he gets taken out by Gimpy. The rocket's going to go wide, but Jinx is able to fire safely in the back. The damage to come through. Sievert's teleport's not going to matter in this fight, and he can no longer use it. I think that might be it.
That's the game right there. Double inhibs about to crash into the wave. Sievert, unable to really hold this up, had to burn his ult to prevent the Alawi from pushing down the lane.
That's gonna be it. Conquer Academy, the only team to be able to do it so far, will cut down AOL Phoenix's undefeated streak. And that's gonna be a Conquer Academy come out with the victory.
A super unfortunate there game. I wanted to see them at full strength. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Not a lot of kills in that game, I think, coming forward. Gimpy 5-1 and Jinx 7-1. Great jobs coming out of Jocklo in his first game, being able to basically carry off the 3-for-0 he got when Alesslo and Inu stepped up to take that inhibitor turret. Very unfortunate all around. That snowballed the lane out of control. As we now move forward to see what is going on, let's take a look at the damage graphs. Wow, not a lot of damage dealt in my mind. Very even amounts of damage dealt. What is it? Swain actually leading the way in damage with 11,180. Not far behind, though, the Jinx as well at 11,000 damage, almost evenly. And Yorick having taken the room in damage with 11,600 damage dealt. What do you think, Blaze? What do you like? Is there anything we could really take away from this moving forward? AOL obviously not at full strength. Definitely a bit of an issue coming forward in that regards.
Yeah, I mean, was this a preview of both of the top teams out of Group A and B, respectively, duking it out and giving it their best? For Conqueror, yeah. For AOL, no. But at the same time, it was still a well-fought victory on the side of Conquer Academy. They played the map right. They got the picks they needed, albeit even if it were through unfortunate circumstances for AOL. The only team so far to be able to cut that undefeated streak. I think we'll see a much better showing in the playoffs when these two teams face each other. But as of right now, incredibly well played out at Conqueror.
Yeah, great, well-played game. I have to admit, great, well-played strategy there by TVO, their coach. But I guess most importantly, as we all want to look here at the vision score and control words purchase. Well, vision score-wise, Inu, great job making his debut with a solid 62, leading the room in wards by almost 20 off the Nami. Other than that, even Alesslo, everyone in double digits. Bad job, though, by Loco on the Jinx and by Phoenix. No control wards purchased in that game, which is surprising given how well the control wards, how well the vision was played by Gimpy, and I guess it would have been just served time in that case then.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Well played. Still on the side of AOL, they are supporting the best. Shitty does have top vision score, but all in all, great stuff out of both of the teams. It is Conqueror that are able to come out on top, though, and if you're able to do so, this is why Alawi, Vi, and Swain are probably on the ban list against Conqueror.
Yeah, great moments there coming out. I think if in return, Gimpy's probably never going to get to play Vi again unless another team against him loses a bunch of bans. Ruffledge actually, I mean, he did his role, right? He controlled the Yorick, which is definitely something he needed to worry about. Didn't have a ton of impact on the game otherwise, which is unfortunate. I always love to see Ruffledge games. But with that, we are probably going to head to a quick break as we're a little bit behind schedule. Shuno, I think this is the last time we're going to see you on cast today. So any parting words for Duo Esports in the stream?
Well, I, of course, would say that my parting words that if you were right on the stream right now, you love Conquer in this game, well, there's even more of them to come up in the next. Coming up right after this will be Kiss Gaming versus Frost Esports. And to round out the night, you get more Conqueror as they take on less Eskimos and hope to round out 2-0 on the day. All in all, it's been great stuff casting with you, Warhood, and, well, great stuff all in all from the games as well.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll see you back shortly, probably 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to more Bronze, Silver, Gold competitive series action. It's Kiss Gaming versus Frosty Esports, and joining me happens to be none other than the legendary, wonderful, beautiful, and vast-tastic individual I've ever met. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is.
Thank you very much. Your compliments are too kind, but let's not talk about me. Let's talk about these teams. We got Kiss versus Frosty today. Ooh, you excited for this matchup?
Quite interested in the Kiss lineup versus Frosty. They definitely had to go through quite a lot of trials and tribulations due to some circumstances that they ran across in their certain lineup problems that they had. Finding a quick fix to their situation, they played a lot of remake games to fix such a situation. So they are now feeling pretty good as they've reestablished their situation when it came down to their pick and ban phase. So in all tenses and all words going into this, I am quite happy that Frosty Esports will look pretty good
doing
this.
You guys know? I'm sorry. You guys aren't casting, right?
We're doing it right now, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, Warhood joining the cast for a brief second. Warhood, what's the news? I guess there is no news.
Thank you, Warhead. Absolutely fantastic to see you too. All right, we do have a Thresh ban right off the bat for Frosty. It's Kiss will be losing all 5 of their bans due to a late roster submission, which is very sad for them, but alas. So we'll be sitting here for a little bit, being able to talk about the picks and bans that come up.
Yes, we will. If poor Kiss in this situation, really you couldn't have a worse stroke of luck to happen to have a couple of issues in the banning phases. You absolutely want to have some sort of fighting effort shown on the board, and they certainly will not have their opportunity to go into this one with any type of options. They have currently, one of the only teams right now, have yet to secure themselves a victory. And right now they were hoping with the rebuilt Frosty Esports that they might have that chance. But so far Frosty Esports have come out quite strong against their rescheduled matches. So that means there's not really too much to really add here. We're just going to have to hope for the best for Kiss Gaming, see what kind of play they can really make through this lack of bans and this lack of anything else. Honestly, hoping for some great things, absolutely great things for Kiss. As their lineup, I always like their guys. They have really nice sounding names, you know? As a caster, Wheeler Walker, Dazaran, Kono, Perowin, and Selmy. That, like, come on. Those are just, they slide right off your tongue. It's beautiful. Love the names.
And I really like Dazaran. I think, 1, it's a cool name, and 2, as well, I think he's a pretty good jungler and probably the star of Kiss. He does great things, and just hopefully that can actually translate into one of their first wins of the series. That would be amazing for them.
Oh yes, absolutely and definitely. It looks like they're confirming the Mundo in the top lane, or perhaps in the jungle. And the Tangelo notices that that's not an Aatrox. Let's confirm that right now. Gets it almost the second Mundo was selected, and then Skarner on the follow-up.
Aatrox being very strong into Mundo, an absolute power pick, able to deny a lot of his healing with his passive, being really strong. And Skarner as well, just point and click CC, friends, point and click.
Well, you might as well call that the same thing as Aatrox, as he's got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 forms of CC, actually. I just realized that he's not like his ult doesn't give him an extra CC.
It does not.
Well, speaking of an extra little CC, one of the strongest ones in the game, nothing quite like Fear to be a very influential part of your ganking options. Nocturne, ladies and gentlemen, in the jungle option, with Orianna being secured as a follow-up after that. That's a wombo combo, if I've ever did see one. Instant hit.
Absolutely, just the Nocturne Orianna just being such a strong wombo combo, and we do have a Lux coming in as well, being another almost wombo champion, getting that giant laser if you can get that line of CC going for your team, which can be pretty easily enabled by a Skarner, the slow, the Aatrox doing like a little bit of an AoE knock-up, and just Lux and snares by itself.
Speaking of snare, we got a little bit of Lux action as well. Gonna look for that counter choice to Orianna. You know, I have seen a lot of Luxes be used against champions that happen to utilize a small little AoE circle. such as Zoe and now Oriana. And I don't know why everybody really likes having the Lux against it, but I think it's the way that Ori plays, the way that Lux plays. It's very positional controlling, and I think that's why Lux was used here to try to get the alternative option. Not to mention, hey, you have a Skarner holding nice and steady, and then pow! You just get a nice big damage ultimate that you don't even need to use your Q for unless you just want to add extra damage. That is a great thing to have. 100%.
Yeah, and also Lux just being able to completely outrange Oriana in most of the matchup really doesn't have much threat from the Oriana. Doesn't really need to walk up far enough to even get threatened by the ball. Just kind of just sits back and can farm safely using spells, and also has a decent long range auto attack as well.
I see. Well, gonna have to say that one thing that needs to definitely be addressed coming up into this one is, oh, looks like Selmy will snatch Xayah, her husband? I think it's a husband, yeah. They're some sort of couple.
Fling crazy guy.
Yeah, maybe fiance. They'll certainly think about it. As that will force Hayes to go with a carry option as Vigar into the bot lane. Definitely good at utilizing the fact that Rakan happens to really utilize heavily on being forced into the front line for their engages. Now, big thing that's definitely going to come into factor here is how much lockdown will they be able to pull off in the fight? How much damage can they pull off? And how much will they get their damage to come through? So, going to have to say real quick, definitely going to be a very important one for us to establish as well. What is the mentality that both of these teams are going to be going with here? With their comps, with their strategy, or with their game plan? We've got about 1 minute between each other to figure out what type of strategy that they were thinking about going into this type of comp and strategy. Obviously, with all the bans solely on one side of the field, they definitely wanted to cripple the enemy team with one without any option but to having to deal with the inevitable loss of every single ban they could get. They had to play with their backup strategy. What is the backup strategy you feel for which team you choose? Which one are you going to take, Voss?
I'm going to talk about Frosty.
Alrighty then. Proceed, my friend.
Alright, well, I really like that Vigar pick here. Almost all of Kiss's team has to basically walk aggressively at them. Mundo can just walk aggressive, or has to just walk at you. The Nocturne ultimate, he can still get stunned mid-air. His ult will still do damage and he'll still travel, but he'll be stunned when he reaches his location if he has to go through the baby cage. Varus doesn't really have any way to get through the baby cage as well. Oriana doesn't. Rakan will just face plant into it and get immediately stunned. I really like that pick here in general, so that's pretty good for forcing fights. They pretty much have a very good siege composition as well with the Xayah and the Lux and the Vagar AoE CC, and they can also easily 4-1 with an Aatrox, especially using a Skarner as he doesn't have to make engages for his team. They have a very good 4-1. Aatrox will beat out a Mundo throughout most of the game entirely. He doesn't really care about anything that Mundo can do. He'll just stop most of his healing with his passive. Skarner will be able to hover on both sides of the map and just be able to save either the 4-man or the 1-man in the solo lane.
Well, I hate to be an unprofessional caster right now, but nature is definitely calling me, and I have to go answer what nature has to talk about. So I will actually have you maybe express a little bit of Kiss gaming strategy for me, as I will be returning shortly before the game actually starts. So I will be right back.
Absolutely. I really like Kiss's strategy as well with the ability to have a Mundo frontlining for most of your fights. He will be very good in that regard. He'll just be able to run it down on top of people. If the baby cage is used inefficiently, he will be able to run it down on top of a Lux. Xayah not really having the best form of self-peel. They will have a Skarner as well, though. And Oriana Shockwave can just be absolutely instrumental to their team fights if they can get things going. Pretty much all of what Kiss wants to do is to get team fights, get AoE damage down, the quickness activating, getting the AoE charms, the chain of corruption from Varus, just to land on as many people as he can, just rooting them in place. The shockwave coming in, lots of AoE damage that'll come through, and that is something that I really like to see. And the Nocturne pick will be pretty instrumental to forcing fights and forcing engages onto the Lux and the Xayah as well, due to the fact that Lux will be pretty squishy, not really too much that she can do. She can hope to just land a snare as the Nocturne comes in if he doesn't spell shield it. So with that in mind, I I really like both team comps. They both have clear ideas of what they want to be doing. And I just hope that we can see it executed upon properly. Skarner will probably have a decent early lead on the Nocturne in terms of gank potential. Nocturne having the best gank potential pre-6. So hopefully he can get a good gank off around level 3 or 4 when he gets like all 3 of his abilities, and he can run it in and get the fear down, land his the Q damage as well, get the extra movement speed. And that'll be pretty important to, I think, Kiss's composition to get them into a decent position so they can force fights when they want to. And with that in mind, I'm going to start looking at the Keystones. Ooh, baby. Now, I love looking at some good Keystones and understanding what champions want to do. Tangelo copying Rutledge's Aatrox with the Electrocute Resolve as well. Skarner running the classic Predator. Nothing to see there. I'm pretty surprised that Lux goes Comet instead of Summon Airy there, just because the Summon Airy would proc on our shield and just add the extra shield bonus onto everybody. And Lethal Tempo on the I like it due to the Fleet Footwork nerfs and just the extra attack speed that she'll be able to get so she can get as many feathers out as possible will be very nice. Veigar going the Summon Area as well, getting free hits, lots of auto attack trading as a support in the lane. Rakan going for Summon Area himself. I don't really agree with it. I think Guardian's probably better with the extra shield you get from it. And then we're going to load right into the game, folks. Do a little bit of a solo cast, is waiting for Army to come back, but you know, I got this. Oof. This will be an interesting game. I'm pretty excited. I don't expect much of a level 1 to happen unless the Veigar starts to eat, but who knows? We will see them start to go around very shortly. Alright. Here we have it. It looks like nothing special, I think. It looks like they're pretty much just looking around for the Skarner's Crystal Spire. Nothing really happening just yet.
Well, I hope and I'm happy that nothing has happened just yet, as I have returned quickly
Except
to
for
get this setting and scene all into the correct area. Oh my goodness, what a big action that's going on. I need to switch it right so you guys can see it.
The Tangelo has to flash. Dadcam Tatertot's doing an aggressive positioning right there. Not an ideal situation. Did not have to use flash, but the Tangelo did in that lane, and that'll be not very good for him, as chances are that is somewhere that Dazzler will want to be early.
Yes, quite sorry again, folks, about that minor inconvenience. I had to fix a couple of things to get back to here, and by that I mean tell Mother Nature that gonna have to check you later. In any case, I'm all set and done finally. Let's get right back into the action.
Absolutely, and nothing really out of the ordinary here. Bot lane's leashing for the jungler at this point, trying to get them to they can get a fast level 3 as soon as possible. Just doing a little bit of an easy clear going on.
Okay.
And nothing there. Just the Tangelo having to probably play a little bit careful inside of this top lane matchup, as he does not have flash anymore, but will probably pull out the Mundo anyways.
So far in this matchup, it is essentially just light trades, light beginnings, and early camp taking for both the junglers. And I find it quite interesting that Nocturne has decided to bypass almost every single camp just to secure the Scuttle Crab early. I find that quite interesting, and I don't know exactly why he would want to do that instead of taking maybe a blue buff early and then going to the crab.
I think getting the Scuttle Crab as early as possible is very good, especially in this situation, because Tangelo did have to blow splash early, and getting that Scuttle Crab early shows that you will have vision of Waifu Chisei if you know that he's in the area or not, or if he tries to go for the Scuttle. And chances are Dazzler really wants to gank the Tangelo very soon. It looks like he's probably going to do his romp for this, and then hopefully get level... and he will get level 3 off this, and he'll probably immediately go top lane.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just hoping for more... Oh, big trade on Kono there. Lux is so far getting a bit of return fire just by being behind by 4 CS so far.
Tangelo up really far without.
Oh, here we go.
Getting arrested. Wheeler Walker does manage. I think he goes down. No, he does not go down. He barely survives. The Tangelo will probably pay for his life for this aggression. Aim of first blood go to him at this point. Oh.
Little dash.
Giving him a little bit of dash. The Umbral dash coming through. The Q comes out from Dazaran as he chases him down.
Come on.
The Dustbringer coming. Will he get it? Well, he decides to blow the flash and then give him the dabbing penguin. There it goes.
Just didn't want him to get under tower. I think the communication where Tangelo had flash is no longer the case. So I think they just didn't say he didn't have flash. So he just said screw it and then took care of him in case anything happened.
Thought he might be able to get there with the movement speed of the Duskbringer passive, but wasn't enough. Had to go in and...
Oh, the snare hits again! That's tanking tower on Lux! Almost!
Oh my. Whew. Kono barely surviving, not using the flash and the barrier to keep herself alive in that lane as the Lux can play aggressively into it, has a good long range, but does not have a very good health pool. Kono not able to trade aggressively with her as she did basically tower dive there. Still had a barrier and a flash, opted not to use them to try and secure that, but she's pretty low in that mid lane, and if I was a jungler, I'd be feeling pretty happy about that.
Yes, I would be as well. Unfortunately, this isn't a level 6 Nocturne. Otherwise, that would 100% be a dead Lux. But in this case, in environment, it's definitely fortunate that that damn Tater Tots did not go down, because it would not be a good back at this stage in time. I would believe it wouldn't be, but then again, the death timer changes might lead me to think otherwise. Perhaps suiciding early for a 6-second back instead of an 8-second back might be a different thing. Oh, wait a second. Big trades. Topside.
Yeah, Tangelo just hitting everything on Wheeler Walker and just so much damage getting put down on that champion. The Electrocute does a lot at this point in time. Kono contesting the Scuttle Crab and putting the pink ward right in Waifu Chise's face. There's not really much that Waifu Chise can do early on unless the Kono decides to go inside of the Spire AoE.
Does get a light trade, gets rid of a control ward, but Lux will get rid of the control ward that was left behind by Kono. So it's essentially going to be a good warding trade between these two mid laners.
And Kono had to use a lot of mana aggressively trading with Waifu Chise to try and push him off the scuttle, but Waifu Chise was able to just do it in his face anyways because Smite exists, and he did heal almost all that damage back up where Kono was basically again.
Oh boy, could this be enough to lock him down? No, it was just the angle of how he decided to try to lock down the Mundo. Unfortunately, couldn't angle that in a way that lets Mundo not get out of that situation easily. So, Mundo gets out easily. Meanwhile, so does Kono as he runs out of mana, as Lux has been able to take control of the lane so far.
Yeah, there's not really much that Kono can do here. It's just the outrange is just massive, and then when he uses mana aggressively on the jungler, as I said before, there's almost no trading potential anymore. Does land another snare. That damn Tater Tots getting the full damage at burst onto Kono. Just tanking 2 tower shots, but there's nothing that Kono can do in return. Dazaran is here. He is level 5. He does not have flash, but he does have the fear tether, but the fear does not proc as the snare comes out. Dazaran opted not to spell shield it in time, which is very sad. Like Chise is here as well, as he was trying to soul the dragon, it looks like.
He'll be having a little help along the way, and that's an Ocean Drake falling quickly for Frosty Esports, as they will do no contest at all. Gonna have to completely let him have that one. I have to admit, it was Dazaran who just mispredicted when the snare was gonna come up, and as soon as he saw it, it already hit him. And that's when he saw, just a second afterwards, a spell shield. Really, really, really unlucky for Dazaran, as he was almost a millisecond away from having a spell shield and taking that damn Tater Tots and bringing in that one to the Shadow Realm.
Dazaran really liking the Nocturne pick. I really like it as well. I like the fact that he used lethal tempo as well. It lands the Dustbringer can basically just trade aggressively with so many auto attacks on top of people.
It's always good to have a lot of auto attacks as a Nocturne, because you're supposed to be an assassin when it comes to how much burst damage you're trying to go for. Stun lockdown, Hayes goes for some big trades. Not enough to take out Heroine yet.
Heroine with a good flash to get out of the burst damage. Their first rank E does not do enough damage to, or does not stun long enough for the W to land, unless you put the W down before your E, and that is something that we got to see there.
Knock up spree. Oh, it's so easy to get that nice combo And with the electrocute, he's actually doing even more of the burst damage that he wants to do on Mundo as he tries to take away not only his health bar, but his regeneration to make that even easier of a little trade for him. And it's really nice that Tangelo's pulling this off pretty successfully, that there is no help coming for this Mundo.
Yeah,
No way! The range on the snare! Oh, Kono, no!
And a little bit of a sombrero going on in the mid lane, not really able to...
Auto! He has enough sustain! He gets out of there! Wheeler Walker, I don't know how you did it!
Every single lane is seeing some sort of action at this point in time. Wheeler Walker just not able to fight Tangelo at any point in time, really. Tangelo will be super strong, and the passive does so much damage, especially to a Mundo. Dazaran is here in the mid lane, though, and he does get the Paranoia down. The Dustbringer comes out, the barrier does come out as well. We do not see the spell shield coming out, and does not opt to continue that aggression.
Lux banishing the shadow that Dazaran was trying to get a quick play on. Unfortunately, just did not have a ball or follow-up. Kono gets snared again! You gotta be kidding me! How did that happen?
Luckily, that man has Nullifying Orb as well, and does have the command Protect. Whew! He's under a lot of fire. Both lanes, both soul lanes of Kiss are under a lot of fire right now.
Wheeler Walker trying to get this Aatrox off the tower. It's a lot of pressure that consistently so far has been allowing Aatrox to have complete control of this lane, with now growing to a 50 CS difference versus the Mundo.
Yeah. At no point in time, really, can the Mundo walk up aggressively. Aatrox is just such a huge lane bully. He can't really get CS unless he's using his cleavers to CS, and that can be not ideal for Raimundo unless he's able to land them aggressively, considering the Tangelo can basically just walk up, tank the cleavers, and then just auto-attack the minions and sustain through it.
It's a dangerous sight to see an Aatrox so far ahead and having so much damage. It's just very difficult for this Mundo to do anything, as this item currently is building towards the Sunfire Cape. It's not ideal at this stage of the game to be this far behind as a Mundo, but with his ult coming back up, he might have a chance, if a gank comes his way, to turn the tide a bit onto Tangelo. We'll certainly see if that'll happen, though, as they have very little resources they want to spend in top lane as of right now.
He'll definitely need help from Dazaran if he even wants to try and...
Oh, he gets him again! Ball lands this time on the ultimate.
The snare's coming in on repeat. Waifuchi stays also here, does not opt to use a Predator as he does not have it just yet, but... Whew, that damn Tater Top's got the sniper coming out.
Gotta admit, these light trades and this very consistent that damn Tater Tots is almost amazing. Oh, whoa!
And Selmy coming in with the charm, immediately lands at the fear coming out as well. Selmy gets a kill for Kiss. This is 2 kills for Kiss. Dazaran immediately goes for the Paranoia underneath the tower. The stopwatch comes out, the shield comes out as well.
No way! Oh, the auto!
Lives barely. Kono does manage to barely survive through the tower dive. Kiss now 3-0 into Frosty at 11 minutes into the game with a 500 gold lead.
So far, it has been quite a very fortunate couple of kills. The farming difference is the main reason that the score right now between the gold is essentially pretty even. But the kill lead is starting to come through rather nicely for the Orianna and the Rakan and Nocturne. Meanwhile, that's going to be thrown right back on him as the mid tower and top tower both go down. Whoa! Oh, sorry, I guess I stole that whole scene from you, as it looks like Mundo goes down to the Aatrox after the tower falls.
Yeah, he just gets completely bursted down and just disappeared, basically. There's not really much that he can do. The ult will not be able to sustain through the passive of the Grievous Moonset. His auto attack applies. Just really sad that Kiss is not able to get that first tower gold. I think Mundo should have just stayed with them and just gotten that first tower immediately.
Red team trade. Yes. Red team now taking multiple towers in response to that mid tower going down is going to push them back into the lead again despite the kill differences.
Yeah, very good for them, and also Tangelo able to get a kill in that lane. Doing quite well for himself at this point. It's going to be an interesting game there, Army.
Oh yeah, it's going to be an interesting one indeed. I am definitely liking so far at the struggles that Frosty Esports have been doing. If you happen to be a good Kiss fan like I am so far, I like seeing the Kiss boys doing everything they can to keep this game in their favor by getting some kills on the map.
Absolutely, and Dazran doing a lot in the early game, able to get some good things down for his team, which is pretty important. We will see another dragon being looked at aggressively by Frosty. They do have some vision control. There is a building that Pittsburgh that they do not see as of this moment, but sure enough, I'm sure someone will see it very soon, but not as of yet.
This will be a time to make an engage. Rakan gets one knock up, hits the charm on 2. Oh boy!
And the grand entrance comes out as well. It does get the knockup, but not enough damage. There's no follow-up at that point in time for his engage. Kono does get a good damage down. Does pop the World Ender for Aatrox, but will not get away as the baby cage makes me baby rage. And there goes Kono, as that is a 3-0 in the favor of Frosty, turning around an entire kill lead in one fell swoop.
Unfortunately, I gave him quite a lot of praise just moments ago, and certainly I'm feeling a little bit feels bad, man, as it's quite obviously a big misplay by Kono. He's not utilizing that ultimate at all in any of these situations with his teammates. We had Selmy and Dezaran both making their ults and putting their engage fully on for those type of plays, but Kono is just not hitting those command protects on his allies, and it's extremely vital to the success of the combo working is if Orianna can make these catches and make these plays, and they're just not coming through.
Absolutely. I don't think Kiss is communicating as well as they probably should be for most of these fights. There was like a decent engage coming out for Selmy. There was a little bit of a group that they had going on, but there was no real follow-up to come in after like they all just front-loaded everything, and then there was nothing that came out afterwards. It was just kind of in hopes that something happened, but there was all like Heroin just died immediately. So did Dazzle ran as well. Selmy was able to get out barely by the skin of his teeth, and then Kono was able to get caught in the backside.
Fear connects, forcing Tangelo to run upwards.
There's three
no
people on him
CC
at this
combo.
point.
Ah.
Not able to land the CC. The Tangelo barely gets out the Emerald Dash being just enough to get him out of the way.
Man, that was almost well coordinated is what I would have said, but unfortunately the fear made Tangelo go upwards instead of going towards the tri-bush. Unlucky in that situation, Selmy would have had a big catch for him.
Yeah, that would have been great, but a little bit of
alt connects.
The corruption, there it goes, and he does get the fear coming down from Dazaran as well. There's almost no, the quickness does land onto Selmy and gets immediately impaled as Wheeler Walker wasn't able to catch onto Isaiah as well. The snare lands on top of Wheeler Walker. There's nothing else he can be doing at this point in time. Sadist is no longer there. Kono does not have mana, cannot do anything for his team. Wheeler Walker falls on the backside as Paragon and Dazaran are being chased by the Tangelo. So much damage coming from that man. He does have to flash to dodge that knockup.
Kono definitely having an off day, and one of the big reasons that fight went so poorly was because Kono was unable to utilize this ultimate. The fight when they made that engage, they pressed the go button, they just did not have that type of correct synergy. Mundo using the ultimate and throwing himself into the front was definitely an idea that looked like it had promise, but a lot of that success comes down to Orianna making these catches, like this. Oh!
Absolutely, here we see it, and immediately, just that Tater Touch deletes Heroin from existence. Just nothing to be done there, and Dazaran able to get that kill as well with the help of Selmy. Doing quite well together with the two of them combined.
Great synergy between those two, and it's looking really well. If they can just get that Ori ball somewhere between the two of them, it's definitely going to be fantastic for fights to come.
They just need to get a little bit stronger before they can get these things. Get an item or two onto the Orianna so she can be strong. And it'll be, once those team fights do happen, if they can get some good catches, especially onto Lux or the Xayah, maybe even the Veigar. Veigar won't be too useful as he is a support this game, but you know, Brand's also a support, but we've seen his damage numbers.
Absolutely, and Hayes is playing the long game with the infinite scaling AP. Hayes simply needs to just get a good couple of combos off and get some good damage off when he can, and suddenly he'll be getting and hitting harder than most of his own teammates. And that's essentially the long con plan, since he did not get the Rakan he wanted from the previous ban phase.
Absolutely, but Veigar doing quite well into the Rakan. It basically has to face plant into the Event Horizon to even try and do anything. So the Event Horizon gets down preemptively, and all of Hayes just walks away. If Selmy even threatens, he can wait for the Event Horizon to like wear off, but then all of Frosty can just disengage by that point. There's no real follow-up that can come out.
Kono all by himself, the baby cage would have caught him. Oh!
Good flash from him to get out of there. Wheeler Walker trying to get in off on the side, but does not get the ability to. Dazram was with him, but there was no engage to come out as Kono did not get caught. Good on him. Did have to burn the flash though, so that's really sad to see. But
yep, and it's Frosty Esports trying to get the momentum where they want it to be right now. You can see the Aatrox crit damage starting to look really good as his damage spiking is starting to come through really nicely. He's pulling Mundo right back where he wants. A big fight in mid lane. Can he get the burst?
absolutely.
Oh, Kono!
Getting corruption going in as D'Angelo is trying to 1v1 Mundo on the other side. We do get the paranoia coming out on top of that Tater Toss. That Tater Toss able to peel him off with the snare. Kono dealt being very low, so is Imperial. There's not much follow-up damage that can come out. Imperial looking to auto-attack, trade people to death. We do see Selmy trying to go aggressively onto the Xayah by himself. Does not have the damage all by himself as that Tater Toss was able to catch out Kono on the side.
Loving the positioning that Triple C 3-2-1 was able to pull on that fight. It almost looked like he was almost untouched in that, as he was able to keep the pressure so far away from himself and just allow that damn Tater Tots to be the main focus and just stay away from all the danger and keep the damage coming. Really big reason that fight was so good. But speaking of that, Tangelo takes out Mundo again, and this is something that Tangelo is now quite pleased at this result of picking Aatrox.
Yeah, the Tangelo just having so much sustain on that champion. Doesn't have to wait on his ult cooldown to be sustained and can just auto-attack minions and sustain through that, as we can see right now. Sadism did wear off, and there wasn't enough healing to come from that, as the Tangelo's passive, the Aatrox's passive to come out, just denies so much healing. So he's just able to dive him after the Sadism wore off. He was able to wear him down, and then here we have it. That he's getting a bit of a crest on right now, but there's almost no damage to come out. Heroin just lands a little bit of damage with the piercing arrow, and that's it.
So Aatrox definitely having a fun time so far. Able to take complete control of this game. You don't really see that super often in a normal queue environment. In duo queue, you definitely don't see that happen too often. Tangelo definitely loving the benefits of having a strong counter pick to this Mundo, because he's having a fantastic time. Speaking of this, Mundo has decided to go with a Swifty Boots to attempt to have more movement speed for the fight to come. I feel like that might be a big missed decision by Mundo, as it is obviously going to be tenacity that would be more important in the team fights, don't you think?
It'll be good, especially because of the
oh, well, bye-bye.
Laser coming out and just Heroin disappears. But I agree with the tenacity option. There would be a lot of magic damage coming out from Datam Tater Tots as we observe Parawan's corpse right now. So there's that. The snare being very vital to their catch potential with the Lux. You will be able to, the tenacity will help with the root, will help with the event horizon, will help with the impale, will help with the fracture stun as well.
Interesting decision here by the Frosty Esports team. They were already pre-pushing the wave, and now they have perhaps caught Kiss Gaming. Here we go.
Taylor Walker getting caught by the event horizon and W not activating to heal him. We do see Tangelo in the backline 1v4ing right now. It's Triple C 329 does come here. They're almost in a full HP world, and they're full
the double knockup!
And it's just a great knockup coming out from the Tangelo at this point, as the Chain of Corruption does deny any more engage. No more people need to fall to you, Frosty. And this Aatrox is really strong.
I would dare say, he did say previously, the game said it itself, unstoppable. And I love hearing those words on over. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and repeat that a little bit. Unstoppable. I love the fact that Tangelo is having such a great time out there, and I'm pretty sure Triple C 3-2-1 is having a fantastic time not being pressured in this matchup, as he doesn't have anything to worry about, as that damn Tater Tots has been the main focus in these team fights.
Yeah, there's they have to get on top of Lux. You have to deny the damage that Lux can do at this point in the game. Triple C 3-2-1 will eventually get up there and do lots and lots of damage, but it'll be she's just now reaching that point very soon. But that Tater Tots is a very big focus for them. Is able to just completely one-shot people if they're not paying attention, and if she dies early, she can no longer pump out shields as well. And that's very important to what Kiss wants to do, so they have to be able to kill her. And also, she's just got snares and slows on repeat. She's a very annoying champion to deal with if they can't get her down immediately.
Kono spots out Waifu here, as Waifu Mach Speed has the ability to just catch an instant target right here anytime he wants to with this much speed already. But with the with the Predator on standby, gonna have some more fun action for sure.
Absolutely, he's looking.
Oh, bye-bye.
We're going to catch someone as the The Lux damage is coming out and just completely decimating Kono at this point. The barrier not enough, the command protect not enough. That Tater Tots' final spark doing so much damage.
It's really unfortunate that it's afraid to say, but it's that easy for Lux to make that combo, and that damn Tater Tot's having a absolutely grand old time, as every time he knows he can make that bind work, and it's just the mind game that makes this so much easier for plays to come. Speaking of plays, they're going right for the Baron. Oh no! Another catch!
Tater Tots catching out Selmy is using the vision to her benefit, is able to just catch out people on repeat, as you see time and time again at this point in time, landing snare, E, ult, every single time. This is the 4th time, 5th time that she's done it, and she just completely deletes them from the map every single time. And it's not something that Kiss is playing around. They're not playing around the vision to deny it.
Oh no, they definitely are. And the problem is, how can you at this stage when your opponent is so confident that he knows that he's just going to hit it automatically? That type of confidence is so hard to get any focus and any control. And it makes things even harder.
Murdering the Wheel Walker in the bot lane as well. There's not really much you can be doing. As the Tangela does just completely destroy Wheeler Walker. The Tangela getting ignited right here. The command shockwave coming out. Does have the Wolf and her proc. The quickness is over. The command shockwave is already gone. Kono has no mana. I think he's just out of here at this point. He's low on HP, but he's low enough, but he still has enough.
Still
Not
unstoppable,
even close, baby. Not even close.
Still unstoppable, the Tangelo.
Yes, absolutely. The team trying to come help Wheeler Walker, but frankly, he's gonna need a wheelchair after this game.
or someone to drag him at this point.
Yeah, he's not having a great time. The Aatrox is just such a monster and just denies everything that Mundo can do.
I gotta admit, I have to be honest, Frosty Esports is definitely having a fantastic performance with their gameplay so far. They're having a lot of confidence in their catches and a lot of confidence in their plays. So far, it's been a bit of a drag out here, and I think Tangelo goes for the tower. They're thinking of trying to get this game, bring it to a close so they can get some more practice time later for tonight, perhaps. But who knows what their next plan of attack is. As Kiss Gaming essentially is waiting for whatever Frosty Esports is about to do.
Absolutely. They're trying to siege right now. They have a great siege, as we mentioned earlier on. Veigar, the baby cage, is such a great zoning tool for a siege. Lux just exists at this point in time and is so strong, can just be sitting over the wall, just throwing out abilities, doesn't even care. Manages to land one, somebody dies, the base just gets blown open immediately as soon as someone gets caught.
All lands, damage flying off the map.
Dazaret barely surviving Whirlwinder coming out, lots of the knockup damage coming through, reducing the tower falling. There's nothing that Parawind can do to this Tangela just on top of him. Kono even having to flash the barrier away. We do see Tangela just murdering more people in the backline as Selmy got caught by Haze in the backside. It looked like the Primordial first came out, and just the outplay button got hit. Wheeler Walker walking into the middle of 5, feeling a little aggressive there. That Mundo, you do not have your sadism anymore. And there he falls to Triple C as we have the base getting shredded and being destroyed. The Tangelo doing a lot of damage to the base. We do have a great shockwave right near the end, but it's not anything that can do to change the game.
And that's how it ends, folks. Frosty Esports comes out with another victory from their previous matchup here. It is quite nice for them to stack up some wins here, as their division definitely is going to be a bit more of a tightly contested one, as Frosty Esports absolutely needs to get their wins up onto the board. Let's take a look a little bit more at some statistics, as we just got some recent information that has just told us that this will be the final game for the night, as Conqueror's team was ready to play, but unfortunately Eskimos, I believe, and I'll be corrected a little bit later in the cast if that is not accurate, but Eskimos were unable to play and decided to go for a forfeit against Conqueror Academy. So that'll be 2 wins for Conqueror. And what a big couple of wins, as it makes a bigger statement towards their win-loss record, as it is extremely good for them to happen to run into a nice little couple of wins going forward into the remaining of the week, as we are already getting close to past the halfway mark Teams are going to have to get things to come together more efficiently and effectively. Let's see what kind of effectiveness that they managed to get in this little scrimmage between Kiss and Frosty Esports. We checked the total damage to champions, Lux and Aatrox. We certainly talked about them a lot, didn't we, Voss?
Just a little bit, and it sure shows here. Aatrox doing just a little bit less than the Lux, considering he was consistently fighting Window on repeat just over and over again, diving into the backline when he had the ability to, and just Lux just doing so much damage and catching people out continuously prior to fights, and there was nothing that Kiss could be doing unless they were able to just clear out wards and play around the vision just a tad bit better.
One of the things they also need to consider in this situation, Kiss Gaming, Kono definitely was not on the mark today. You notice from last week he happened to have a lot better synergy. In this one, it just felt like he really did not manage to get good consistency. He could not get those balls to land. He couldn't get the damage to come through on a lot of good engages by Selmy and Dazaran. The synergy just was not there, and you gotta hope in games to come, in weeks to come, that they get that synergy down. That's something very important. This game would have definitely been a lot bigger in the damage department by Oriana, and a lot better of a damage department by Nocturne and Rakan if we had just a bit more synergy when it came to those team fights. And it's unfortunate that everything just was just not clicking for them in that day.
Yeah, absolutely, and just it showed today. Hopefully they can get whatever they need to be doing, whatever they need to get rolling, maybe get a win going for themselves. That would be absolutely wonderful to see. Now, Army, as another support man,
Yes.
why don't we talk about our vision score? Because, it's one of my favorite things to talk about.
You say that's one of your most favorite things to talk about. Well, I just recently have a new thing that I actually quite like to talk about as well. Damage taken, ladies and gentlemen. I actually quite find this a little bit more interesting, and it kind of expresses a lot more of a point to what is being focused and who is being focused when it comes to the fights in the battle. So, as much as I'd love to talk about vision score, perhaps we should wait just a smidge and let me discuss a bit about how positioning and how much damage certainly was given off in these battles. Now, we saw how much damage is going off. Let's see who is tanking the most. And one of the common phrases you definitely love to see is who is tanking the most, why are they tanking the most, and what are they doing to survive the damage? We have both the self-mitigated and damage taken, and one big factor that is absolutely key to a Lux performance is the self-mitigated damage. It means when you are able to utilize your barriers correctly, and when you are able to utilize every ability to keep you standing, keep your tank value high, and keep yourself avoiding of danger, you can really ally yourself a lot with how much you're able to shock absorb. And Lux did a fantastic job of that. The damage taken is almost the same as the self-mitigated. That is a very rare thing to see in a Lux performance. You don't see it too often because Lux, they don't tend to utilize their barrier too much when it comes to those quick trades. They tend to not survive those type of environments and go down rather quickly. But I gotta be honest, this Lux definitely impressed me because that survivability made it so the Xayah and the Veigar almost took absolutely no damage in the match. What do you think about that?
I think it's also interesting that Aatrox, despite being on the winning team, took the most damage in the game.
Yeah, able to come back to life, get his health back again, means that he will be definitely fighting quite a bit, not only in the early stages of the game, but definitely in the late stages of this game in particular. Mundo definitely kept trying to swing at him, but it was Aatrox that definitely had the last laugh, as we already noticed from the damage charts. He certainly didn't need to overwhelm Mundo. He just needed to bring Mundo's health bar to 0, and that's exactly what he managed to pull off there. But yes, absolutely. To the vision score, my friend, as you've mentioned earlier.
Absolutely my favorite. I love talking about wards and the understanding of, vision and stuff, vision and like where vision should be and where vision
Are
shouldn't
you
be.
are you mocking me?
No, absolutely not. I really like vision. It's really cool. And it's something very interesting that I noticed is that Selmy had a 45 vision score, but he had almost no wards destroyed because he kept putting out vision and was trying to gain vision for his team. But he only had 3 wards destroyed, which means that there was just a failure to destroy wards on the entire side of Kiss. And we see a big amount of wards destroyed for Dat Tam Tater Tots, or it's 6, but that's more than anybody else in the game aside from
Definitely a priority that Lux was certainly taking advantage of was how many times a control ward was placed by the Rakan, 8 of them in particular, that the Lux was able to sniff out and take out rather quickly, and the wards destroyed definitely is a main factor to why Lux was able to take advantage of so many things. Rakan's vision was definitely more focused towards the middle of the map, which was a good idea in a lot of cases. But that does come with the price of eventually losing the pressure of having that position. Control ward is an establishment of positioning advantage and pressure on the map. When you lose it, you will end up losing the benefit of how much you place. And that's essentially what Lux was able to take advantage of in this game. Honestly, I gotta say, I think the Lux, in all senses of the word, would win my personal MVP of the match in good honors for how much that person not only played Lux to the optimal level of play, but also was able to rob attention and remove vision off the map. That's just the above and beyond type of style that Damn Tater Tot certainly played in this matchup here against Kono.
I'd say either the Lux or the Aatrox as well. Aatrox having to blow Flash level 1 and still coming back and into the game despite that, and also dying, giving up first blood to Dazaran, just comes back into the game and just monsters it too. Like, sure, he might not have had the same vision control, but was a very big split push threat and was able to get back into the game as well. Did a lot for his team, just enabling them to do what they could. And was a big factor in their comeback mechanics.
Well, gonna have to say, what a fantastic little performance we certainly saw today. Unfortunately, that is still going to be our last one. I was kind of hoping for some more excitement to watch here, but that's going to be it for today. If you want to watch a little bit more, I'll give you a little bit of a cue card to talk about. It's tomorrow's games are coming, and that's for Saturday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. We've got Eskimos. Let's hope they'll be able to play against Frosty Esports coming tomorrow. Whatever issue they came across today, I hope will not affect tomorrow's. At least I very much hope for that. We have Aether Esports versus OC Nation. I'm going to have to hope that Aether Esports is able to really get themselves back into focus. But if they can't, they're going to have to try again against Eskimos, as they will have another match against them, as they will be quite the theme team today. Because even if they somehow don't have a good time against Eskimos, they'll be playing one more game, this time, against All One Lane. If you happen to be a big Aether Esports fan, you're definitely going to love this Saturday, because it's going to be a very, very fun Saturday for you.
Absolutely, it'll be a great time, I'm sure. It'll be fun to watch. I just hope that Aether has good enough mental to survive 3 games, especially ones of those caliber, the OC Nation and AOL in the same 3 games you play in a row. Those are the 2 strongest teams in Group A, and those are tough teams to topple.
A lot of gameplay, a lot of mental preparation. The biggest thing that is going to be the biggest detriment to this team's success, no matter how well they practice, is their tilt factor. And hopefully OC Nation will not put them off on their spree. They need their games to come through, and Aether Esports could get some big wins here. All One Lane definitely was unable to play at the style that they wanted to today. They couldn't play because of the horrid storm. Hopefully everybody will be okay. I believe it was a hurricane-esque environment on Florida, so I hope everyone's going to be completely fine by the end of the day. But that should just about cover today's stream. See you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Remember, Eskimos, Frosty, that's your first match. Gonna love to see you guys coming from that point onward. Love you guys. Boss, we should probably sign ourselves out, right?
Absolutely, and it was a wonderful time casting with you today.
Absolutely. I feel like maybe I might have just took a little bit of your load there. But
got
anyway.
A little bit aggressive, but it's fine.
Well,
all right. For For next time, I'll just do the same to you. It'll be great.
It'll be great. Well, then, I'll see you guys going on tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, everybody.